Imagine someone you love deeply. Picture them in excruciating pain, tethered to machines, their body ravaged by a terminal illness. Their spirit, once vibrant, is now slowly fading, replaced by a constant barrage of suffering. Modern medicine, for all its advancements, can only offer temporary relief, a mere postponement of the inevitable. Their quality of life has vanished, replaced by a relentless cycle of pain and despair. It's a scenario no one wants to face, yet it's a stark reality for countless individuals and families worldwide. The question arises, should individuals in such agonizing circumstances have the right to choose a dignified and peaceful exit? Should they be allowed to end their suffering on their own terms, surrounded by loved ones, rather than endure a protracted and agonizing decline? This is the crux of the debate surrounding euthanasia, a complex and emotionally charged issue that continues to spark global dialogue and divide opinions. Euthanasia, often referred to as mercy killing, is the practice of intentionally ending a person's life to relieve them from unbearable suffering caused by an incurable illness or condition. It's crucial to distinguish between the different types of euthanasia to fully grasp the nuances of this multifaceted issue. Voluntary euthanasia involves an individual's conscious and informed request to end their life, while non-voluntary euthanasia occurs when a person is unable to give consent and the decision is made by someone else, typically a family member or legal guardian. Furthermore, there's a distinction between active and passive euthanasia. Active euthanasia involves taking direct action to end a person's life, such as administering a lethal injection, while passive euthanasia entails withholding or withdrawing life-sustaining treatment, allowing the individual to die naturally. Understanding these distinctions is paramount when delving into the legal, ethical, and moral dimensions of euthanasia. Euthanasia occupies a morally and legally ambiguous space worldwide, with laws varying significantly from one country to another. A handful of nations, including Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, and Spain, have legalized both active and passive forms of voluntary euthanasia, recognizing the individual's right to choose a dignified death in the face of intolerable suffering. These countries have implemented strict regulations and safeguards to prevent abuse and ensure that euthanasia is only considered in exceptional circumstances. On the other end of the spectrum, many countries, particularly those with strong religious influences, maintain a blanket ban on all forms of euthanasia, considering it morally reprehensible and equating it to murder. The United States falls somewhere in the middle, with some states, such as Oregon, Washington, and California, permitting physician-assisted suicide, a form of voluntary euthanasia where a doctor provides a lethal dose of medication to a terminally ill patient who chooses to end their own life. Section 4. The case for compassion. Arguments in favor of legalization. Proponents of euthanasia legalization advocate for individual autonomy, emphasizing the right of competent adults to make decisions about their own bodies and deaths. They argue that denying terminally ill patients the option of a peaceful and dignified death constitutes a violation of their fundamental human rights. Forcing individuals to endure prolonged and unbearable suffering when a humane alternative exists is seen as cruel and unjust. Moreover, advocates highlight the potential economic benefits of legalizing euthanasia, particularly in countries with strained healthcare systems. Prolonging life through expensive and often futile medical interventions can place a significant burden on families and healthcare resources. Allowing individuals to choose a dignified death could free up these resources, potentially benefiting a broader range of patients. Access to euthanasia, they argue, allows individuals to die with dignity and compassion, rather than be subjected to the indignity of a protracted and agonizing decline. Section 5. The slippery slope. Concerns and counter-arguments. Opponents of euthanasia, however, raise valid concerns about the potential for abuse and the erosion of the sanctity of life. They argue that legalizing euthanasia could create a slippery slope, leading to its use in non-terminal cases or on individuals incapable of providing informed consent. The potential for coercion, particularly of vulnerable populations such as the elderly or those with disabilities, is a significant concern. Furthermore, critics argue that legalizing euthanasia undermines the role of palliative care and hospice services, which focus on providing comfort and improving the quality of life for terminally ill patients. They contend that adequate palliative care can effectively manage pain and suffering, making euthanasia an unnecessary and ethically questionable option. Religious groups, in particular, often oppose euthanasia on moral grounds, viewing it as a violation of God's will and a devaluation of human life. Section 6. Navigating the moral maze, global implications, and the need for safeguards. The global debate surrounding euthanasia is fraught with ethical, legal, and religious complexities. The lack of a unified stance reflects the deeply personal and culturally sensitive nature of this issue. Developing a globally applicable framework for euthanasia is highly improbable, given the diverse values and belief systems across nations. However, it's crucial to establish clear guidelines and safeguards in countries where euthanasia is legal or under consideration. These safeguards should include mandatory counseling, multiple medical opinions, and robust oversight mechanisms to prevent abuse and ensure that euthanasia is only utilized as a last resort in cases of unbearable suffering. Open and honest public discourse is paramount to fostering understanding and addressing the ethical concerns surrounding euthanasia. Section 7. A complex conversation balancing individual rights with societal values. The debate surrounding euthanasia is ultimately a complex and multifaceted conversation about individual rights, societal values, and the very essence of life and death. There are no easy answers or one-size-fits-all solutions. Balancing an individual's right to choose a dignified death with the need to protect vulnerable populations and uphold the sanctity of life is an ongoing challenge. As medical technology advances, further complicating end-of-life care, the conversation surrounding euthanasia will undoubtedly intensify. It's a conversation that demands compassion, empathy, and a willingness to engage with diverse perspectives. Ultimately, finding a humane and ethical approach to end-of-life care requires a delicate balancing act, navigating the intricate terrain of individual autonomy, medical ethics, and the profound respect for human life.